All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Devin Brooks, a junior broadcasting major here at Western Illinois University. Welcome to Western Illinois University's Virtual Admitted Students Day. We're excited that so many future Leathernecks are joining us today. We wish we could all be together right now on campus, but we are excited to bring WIU to your homes today. We have a great afternoon planned for you, and we hope that we leave you today with questions answered about WIU. So let's review the agenda for today. We'll start with a welcome from our interim president, Martin Abraham, and then we will move to questions that you can ask for our faculty on campus. And then following that, we will have a panel of our current students who will answer all of your student life questions. So all of your microphones are automatically on mute. However, this is your opportunity to ask questions to our representatives. So please utilize the Q&A box. Please wait until we reach the faculty and student panel portions of the event to type your questions, and we will do our best to address as many as possible. Of course, if your question doesn't get answered, well, please email admissions@wiu.edu, and our staff would be glad to assist you. All right, well, now that we've gotten all of the housekeeping items out of the way, now I want to introduce you to the interim president of Western Illinois University, Dr. Martin Abraham.
Well, good afternoon. How is everybody doing today? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Things are going very nicely for you back home, and you're finishing up your academic year and completing what you're hoping or what you were expecting to be a very different year than what's turned out to be. And I know we can certainly say the same thing about our situation here at Western. We certainly had no view that this was going to happening to us, and this wasn't how we expected to be welcoming you here to campus. And we are glad that you did take the opportunity to join us in this virtual setting, and certainly hope that you'll have an opportunity to see us again in the near future as restrictions start to get lifted. I would like to give my special thanks and appreciation to the faculty and the staff who are participating in this, staff especially in our admissions office who, we're able to regroup in just a matter of weeks to be able to pull programs like this together and be able to create opportunities for all of you to participate in events that, while not what we were anticipating, we hope will be of high quality and will make you feel excited about your future here at Western Illinois. So really appreciate all of the work that those folks have done, the staff. And the other thing I'll tell you, and this is a testament to the Leatherneck spirit, is everything I hear from students is that the faculty who had to convert their courses to remote activities in just a couple of weeks have done a tremendous job doing it, and they haven't missed a beat, and the students are getting really quite a good educational experience. And so we're real excited to hear all of the changes or all of the success stories that the students have had. Questions that people have asked us, and I'm sure is on your mind, and I made a comment to one of the other folks yesterday as I was preparing remarks to see if they thought that this would be an appropriate question to answer, and that is that, are we going to be open in the fall? And the answer to the question is absolutely we're going to be open. The question really should be exactly what does open mean for us in the fall? And at this point, we are planning to have full face-to-face classes here on campus, whether it's here in Macomb or it's in Quad Cities, and the opportunity for you to be on campus and be participating in classes and many of the normal activities that you would be engaged in. Now, we are certainly aware that this is likely to be continuing even into the fall, so it's not going to be quite the same as what it might be under a normal fall semester. Some things that we're dealing with that we expect are going to happen or certainly looking at as opportunities or things that we have to continue to consider. Smaller class sizes, for example. We're not going to have any large lectures of 100 to 150 students, not that we normally do at Western anyway, but certainly not even going to be able to consider those activities um, under any conditions, probably, certainly not in the early part of the fall semester. We're going to have testing services available here on campus if somebody comes down with symptoms, so that we can look at it and evaluate it and make sure that students are monitored, and faculty and staff are monitored, and things can go on and occur safely. Schedules for laboratory classes that might be a little different than we might otherwise have. Meeting schedules that might be a little different than we might otherwise have. Other rules associated with social distancing that will have to take place. So we're putting all of these processes in place, making sure that we are properly prepared to be able to provide you with a quality face-to-face educational experience and a safe experience, so that any of the challenges that are still ongoing in the fall, we have looked into them. We know what those might be. We've addressed them, and we've considered how we're going to deal with those. So we're certainly looking at face-to-face classes. We're looking to have you here in the fall and making sure that you will be able to take your educational experience and do it safely. What I do also want to touch on is a little bit about what makes the Western Illinois University experience unique, why I think you've made a great choice to come to Western, and what I think is going to be out there that you will get to experience as a Western Illinois student. And a lot of that, I think, goes back to the idea that Western will give you the personal touch. You get to work with the individual faculty. You get to become engaged in the campus experience. You get to participate in the activities that are going on. You get to interact one-on-one. So the faculty are available to you. They're out there, they're communicating with you, they're working with you, they're interacting with you on a daily basis, on a regular set of activities, in a one-on-one experience or small group settings, and taking advantage of these opportunities that are offered to you. So all of those activities are available, all of those opportunities are available. And I know, in fact, many of our faculty are engaged, even as we're dealing with this online environment. They're absolutely engaged with many of our students, and they're accessible via email and chat and all sorts of other video experiences, so that they can provide the highest quality educational opportunities for all of our students. You know, I always like to say that Western provides the large university opportunities with the small campus feel. If you want to do an undergraduate research experience in part of your career, you have the opportunity to do it here at Western. If you want to get engaged in a study abroad experience, not in the fall when we're still under restricted travel, but down the road, once the COVID pandemic goes away, we'll have opportunities for you to do study abroad. If you want to be engaged in service learning classes, we'll have those opportunities for you. So we provide all of those opportunities just like any other university, any large university would. And you have the small campus experience that you can get in a smaller, more personal interaction opportunity. We're going to be here in the fall for you with the interactions and the camaraderie amongst the students. We're expecting to have our residence halls open. We're expecting to have opportunities for you in the residence halls. We're expecting to have a tremendous welcome week experience, so you can start to form those social networks that are going to get you engaged and help you to be successful at a university, so that you can get over the transition from high school back into a university setting, transition from online back into face-to-face classes, so that you have all of these experiences and these opportunities. The events that we expect to be able to provide for you, the activities in which you're going to be able to engage, all of these things that provide for you those interactions that make your experiences here at Western lifelong memories. And, you know, I'll tell you, and I'm sure you're experiencing this yourself, completing your high school career, one of the things we miss the most about not having the students here during their senior year is that it's a great opportunity to make these lifelong experiences, lifelong connections, and some of our students are missing that. And I think it's a great opportunity to go ahead and reach out to students, reach out to your friends, your colleagues, and reconnect with them, even if it is just virtually at the moment. And then in the fall, we'll have those activities and those opportunities connect here in person and on campus. We are looking forward to a return to a more normal educational experience in the fall, as I've already mentioned. We're looking forward to great classes and great activities and great opportunities. We're hoping to have a tremendous football season. We're looking forward to our women's volleyball being back on the courts and all of these activities going on. I just want to close by reminding you that we are absolutely 100% expecting to have students back on campus in the fall, and of course, setting up all of the appropriate conditions that'll keep everyone safe. We think you've made a great choice to consider Western and to choose Western. We have the combination of great educational experiences and great activities that you can participate in that give you those university experiences that go beyond what you can achieve just through the classroom opportunities, that take you to the next level, that engage you so that you can build that network of connectivity that's going to set you up for those internships, those lifelong experiences, that next career opportunity 4 years from now after you graduate, and build those career networks for you that are really going to help you to be a success. We know that that's what Western does. We take some excellent students and we make them even better. And we take those students and give them the great opportunities to be successful so that they can have a meaningful career experience. We think we're going to be a great opportunity for you. We're looking forward to seeing you on campus in the fall. We're going to have the greatest experiences that we can possibly provide for you, and looking forward to a wonderful time. So thank you for spending the time with us this afternoon. Appreciate having everything with, the time to spend a few minutes with you. And I'll turn it back over to Devin and get you on with your program. So thank you all for participating.
All right, well, thank you, Dr. Abraham. Here at Western Illinois University, we take great pride in having strong faculty on campus. Our faculty are experts in their fields, many of whom have worked professionally in their industries before joining WIU to share their knowledge with students. Our faculty members are here to answer any questions you may have about classes or student-teacher interactions. Today, we have assembled 4 distinguished faculty members joining us, 1 from each of our academic colleges. So first, we have Honey Zimmerman. Professor Zimmerman teaches supply chain management in the College of Business and Technology. Next is Dr. Jeremy Robinette. Professor Robinette teaches Recreation, Park, and Tourism Administration in the College of Education and Human Services. Also joining us is Stacy Mackey. Professor Mackey teaches Communication and is from the College of Fine Arts and Communication. And finally with us is Dr. Tanya Atkins-Colbert. Professor Atkins-Colbert teaches Sociology and is from the College of Arts and Sciences. So remember to type your questions into the Q&A box. And if there is a faculty member that you specifically like to answer your question, then just mention their name in the question. So while we're waiting on your questions, go ahead, take the time and put them in the box right now. We have first few questions we want to ask. So first to Professor Zimmerman. Each professor will answer this question here. What is your favorite reason for teaching at WIU?
Well, I have several, but to keep it short and to not steal it from everybody else, I would say the big thing for me at Western is the opportunities, and Dr. Abraham kind of mentioned this too, the opportunities that our students and the faculty have at Western. So it's a large enough institution that we have opportunities to get engaged in a lot of different things, but also it's small enough that that you're not just a number and you actually get to participate. So for example, I've taken students to conferences in California and Atlanta, Georgia. We go on field trips regularly to large Fortune 50 companies here in the Midwest. So we get to do there's a lot of opportunities to get involved. And that's one of my favorite things about teaching at Western specifically. Thanks, Devin.
Perfect. Professor Robinette?
There we go. I think what I view the most important and what keeps me at Western is I love the incredible diversity that we have in between rural and urban, between international and domestic, all varieties of students, all varieties of faculty. It leads to an incredible exchange of information and knowledge. It gives us a lot of fun things to do and a lot of great spaces and places for people to grow. Back to you, Devin.
Yes, and Professor Mackey?
Thanks, Devin. Um, I think that for me, it's definitely the people. I am so in love with Western because of the amazing people here. The students, the staff, the faculty, the community members, they are what makes the Western Illinois University. So for me, it's definitely the people. Thanks, Devin.
All right, and Professor Atkins-Covert?
Well, I am finishing up my 20th year teaching at Western Illinois University. And the reason that I came and the reason that I continue to love being here is that we are a student-centered, student-focused institution. And I get the opportunity to work closely with my students, both in the classroom and outside of the classroom on research projects. And I very much appreciate that close connection that I get to have with the students that isn't something that's true at all institutions. Devin?
All right, thank you all. Here's another question. Professor Mackey, this one is for you. What is the biggest difference between classes in high school and college?
That is a really, really great question. So I think there are some definite differences between high school and college. One of those differences is the amount of responsibility that you as a student in a university setting get to have. But it also, with those new responsibilities comes a lot of challenges, and also with those challenges comes consequences. So you make a new choice, you have a new consequence, and it's just about you discovering who you are. The other thing that I would say is between high school and college, independence, responsibility, but it's also kind of finding yourself. I mean, you now have to take that responsibility for yourself, and there's a lot of time. So you've got to figure out how to be flexible and figure out when your classes are going to be and when you're going to study and when you're going to spend time with your roommate and your friends and call your mother back home. So high school and college, very different levels of expectations, different levels of responsibility, but a lot of great things that you'll discover in college. Thanks, Devin.
Thank you, Professor Mackey. And also you brought up the studies. Professor Zimmerman, this question is for you. What advice would you give for students if they need assistance with an assignment? What should they do?
Well, I think, if I had to boil down one piece of advice that I would give new students at all, it is really to get to know your professors. We are here to help you. We want to help you. We want to see you succeed. And so we want you to really get to know us. Come to our office hours. If you have questions on homework or even content, wanting to help understand it better, or, just have a question about maybe something on campus in general or life in general, that's what we're here for. I love it when my students come to my office hours. That's really where we get to develop relationships with our students and get to know them so that we can really help you find that career path that you want down the road. If your faculty members don't know you, it's harder for them to help you. And so that's my big piece of advice, is really get to know your faculty. We want to help you. Thanks, Devin.
Thank you. Okay, we have a question. This one is for Professor Robinette. So how often can students interact with teachers, faculty outside of the classroom? Explain kind of how office hours work.
Students can interact with faculty everywhere. That's one of the great things about Western that I think oftentimes surprises students. So office hours are a set time that faculty have where they're required to be in their office in order to engage with students. That's baseline. Faculty at Western exceed this quite often. I can speak in my department and across our college. We have learning centers set up where students can come and work, gather together, where faculty can meet with them in order to provide some of that out of the classroom. But office hours and engagement happen everywhere. It's not unusual at all for students to stop me in Walmart or at local restaurants as we're eating and have conversations about not only what we're doing in class, but also what they're doing in their life. And I love it. And the other faculty that I know greatly appreciate this. So it's up to the student sometimes. While we've often gone to school for a long time, they don't teach us how to read minds. So we do need our students to advocate for themselves a bit, but then we're always here and you can engage with us wherever's most convenient for you as well. Devin?
Thank you. And we see some questions that we're going to hold off until our student panel. So they're going to be answered. We're going to get to them in just a few. Our next question for our faculty, Professor Atkins-Covert, what advice do you have for students in starting school the first few weeks of school?
I would say get out of your room, get out of your apartment, get on campus, get active, get engaged. There are activity fairs that take place in the first couple of weeks. Go to the rec center, find out what's available. There are classes for students. There is great equipment there. There's so much that's going on. And I think that students maybe fail to take advantage of that. It can be very scary being away from home, maybe for the first time, being on a campus that may be bigger than your hometown. I don't know, but get involved. If you're living in the residence halls, there's residence hall programming. There are activities that are going to be going on. Get out of your room, get on campus, enjoy the fantastic weather we always have in the fall. And I guess the other thing I would say is get on a schedule. You're going to have to get used to the fact that nobody's getting you out of bed at 6 in the morning, and you may not have class, and you may not have to leave at 8 o'clock in the morning to get to school. So you're going to have to do some of that. Get yourself on a schedule, get planning for how you're going to work through some of the deadlines that are coming in the semester. So, but also, make sure that you've put in time to have fun. There is so much going on. It's a small community. Western is a smaller community. Macomb is a smaller community. It is amazing how much stuff is happening every single day in our community and on our campus. Devin?
Thank you. Well, remember, we are taking your questions. You can drop them in the Q&A box, and we're going to try and get to most of them during this program. We now have an admissions question for Drew Donahue. He's with our admissions department. Explain kind of how much does the cost work if you're trying to bring a car on campus and get a permit?
Sure, great question. So all students are welcome to have cars on campus, and our Office of Public Safety is where students will go to purchase those parking passes. It's right across the street from the University Union on Murray Street. And so there's different prices for parking, for different parking passes depending on which parking lots students are parking in or whether they're living on or off campus. But our Office of Public Safety will have all of that information, and students are able to pick up those parking passes right when they arrive on campus in the fall. So everything will be available through our Office of Public Safety. There's probably some information on their website as well, but that's where you'll go to get those. Thanks, Devin.
All right, and Professor Mackey, we have a question we saw in the chat box. How are teachers trying to plan for next year? How are you planning your curriculum?
I think it's on the forefront of all of our minds right now. Some of us are going to be teaching summer classes, so I know we're currently making adjustments for our summer classes. And I think a lot of us are trying to think ahead about, if our classes in the fall are going to be face-to-face, and most of us teach face-to-face classes, then, how we have planned in the past will come into play with, of course, new exceptions, social distancing exceptions, perhaps, activities that we did in the past, we're going to have to do those in a slightly different way with social distancing, but still give students the same enriched experience that they normally get. For me, for example, one of the classes that I teach is small groups. And so, with social distancing, it's going to make that class a little bit different, and the interactions are going to be very different, but we're still going to learn the material and do it in a fun and engaging way. So I think it's on the forefront of all of our minds as we kind of see how the next month or two plays out. And I think that we are all going to try to do our best to make sure that whatever fall looks like for all of us with some new guidelines, whatever those might be, we are all going to do our very best to make sure that we give our students 110% like we do, like we did before this, like we're doing now, and of course, like we'll do after. So we're all thinking about it, and we want your experiences to be amazing. So yeah, we're planning it, we're working it. We'll just kind of see how the next couple of months evolve. Thanks, David.
Yeah, we're all trying to adapt. Well, Professor Atkins-Colbert, this next question is up your alley. Talk about what kind of topics do you discuss in sociology and also psychology?
Well, I can speak most directly to sociology, but there are connections between sociology and psychology as disciplines. Psychology obviously focuses more on individual behavior and individual motivations for behavior, and I'm sure that my psych colleagues would expand on that a great deal. And sociology focuses more on group behavior and group dynamics and social and structural causes and explanations for societies. So we cover a lot of ground. I personally teach classes on family, so the sociology of the family, which focuses on dating, courtship relationships, the history of family structure, the role that the family plays in the larger society, how the society impacts families and family interactions. We teach classes on social stratification, looking at economic, gender, and racial inequality. We have lots of courses focusing on criminology and deviance, which is a nice connection between what our program offers and what LEJA offers. And we have a lot of LEJA majors who minor in sociology or double major because of that, as we can give a different perspective on it. We focus on pretty much every social institution. In the fall, I'm teaching a upper division class in political sociology, so I'm looking forward to covering the election in relationship to its connections to other social institutions. And so we pretty much cover everything. The thing about sociology is there is nothing that is off limits. Everything in society can be studied in our discipline, which I guess you can tell I'm a little excited about what I do. I think you'll see a lot of that among the faculty here at Western. So thanks, Devin. I like that question.
Yeah, I do too. So Drew, next we're back to some admission questions. Is there some type of down payment that students have to make before they start school in the fall?
Excellent question. Western does not have an enrollment deposit or any sort of down payment that students pay prior to starting courses. We do have a $50 application fee for your housing application. So to have your housing application processed and all of that, there's a $50 fee associated with that. But otherwise, there's no out-of-pocket cost or anything that a student might have to pay to be able to start at Western. We don't have an enrollment deposit like you might see at other institutions.
All right, thank you, Drew. Professor Robinette, this next question is for you. So are most courses taught by the faculty members, teachers, or teacher assistants?
Far and away, it's taught by teachers. Far and away, you're going to have professionals who, which TAs are wonderful. Let me first say that as I'm getting ready to talk about this. If you do have a TA, it's very likely going to be in a lab-based course where they're going to be working with you in a lab or providing you education. They may also teach some of our courses. Anytime they are teaching a course, they're going to have a faculty member that they're working with as they're going through. Your ability at Western to make a one-on-one connection with a faculty member who has completed their education and oftentimes worked in the field, it's tremendous. It's one of the things that I think makes Western an outstanding institution, is that one-on-one relationship that any student can form with their faculty. Thanks, Deb.
Absolutely. Okay, next, Professor Zimmerman. This next question is from Edgar. What types of advice do you give for students that are trying to major in supply chain management?
Ooh. Okay, so what kind of advice do I give? I would say there's a lot of opportunities in the career field, and so your opportunity here at Western is to take classes in different areas to kind of figure out where your passion is. And with supply chain, every organization in the entire world has a supply chain, whether it's a nonprofit organization or a small mom and pop, you want to open your own business, or if it is a Broadway production. Every organization has a supply chain. And so you can really figure out where your passion is and form your classes around that passion. We have, electives that you could take. For example, if you want to go into manufacturing, then you could take electives for your supply chain degree in engineering. Or if you want to go into the ag industry, you can take some ag electives. So we have a list of electives that work well with supply chain management. Computer science, for example, is another one. And so you get to come here and take classes in different areas and really figure out where your passion is. And going back to our original question of what we love about teaching here, that's one thing I love about being a teacher in general, is to see the light bulb go off when you guys figure out where your passion is and what makes you tick, and when you get something and just to see that light bulb go off is so rewarding for us. And so my advice would be just to take classes in a variety of areas to really figure out where your passion is and follow that passion. Thanks, Devin.
All right, thank you. Professor Mackey, this next question is for you. Someone is asking, how can they reach out to their teachers before starting school, so if they are incoming freshmen?
Great question. So there are a couple of ways that you could actually do this. Once you attend a summer orientation registration program, we call those SOAR programs, you will have hopefully registered for your classes after your SOAR program. And so you will know not only the class that you are going to be taking, but also the faculty member who is teaching it. It should say on your schedule the last name of the faculty member. And the great thing, of course, about living in the technology age, right, is that you can go to the WIU webpage, and actually there's a little drop down, and one of the choices is directory, so that you could actually search your faculty member's last name. And all of us have our contact information associated with the university webpage, of course, so you can search us by last name and get our email addresses, which I think is a great way to email your professors in the summer. Just, you know, drop them a line. Hello, Professor Mackey. My name is Jeremy Robinette, and I'm so excited to take your class this fall. I just wanted to introduce myself to you. You can ask them specific questions, maybe about books. Your books will also be on STARS, which is our system for basically everything that you will do once you become a student. I don't want to get into too many specifics, but searching our name on the WIU webpage is one. And then once you're a student, you will have access to our system where we keep our online material. It's called Western Online. You might use something similar in high school like Desire to Learn. It's what our platform is, or Angel. And your classes actually will show up there. And once you're registered, you can log in, and then you can also see your classes there and email your faculty member there. But I will tell you, the easiest way is to get on WIU webpage, search our names, and then email us directly through there. So thanks, Devin.
All right, Drew, we have another question with admission. So do students have to minor in something?
Ooh, that is a great question that I don't totally know the answer to. Hopefully one of our faculty members can chime in. Honey's shaking her head. So I think that no, you don't have to. It probably depends on your major. But your academic advisor will be able to work with you if you do need to declare a minor or choose a minor or two with your major. And we'll have some folks that will be able to help with that. And just a quick note as well, right now, students, you are able to register for classes. You don't have to wait till summer anymore. We will have orientation this summer, but students are able to register now with their academic advisors. You can do that on your STARS account. You can reach out to your advisor, find their contact information. But I think Honey might have something to add, so I might toss it over to her.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to add, no, you don't have to have a major for all, you don't have to have a minor for all majors. Now, I know like in the College of Business, for example, a minor is a great way to differentiate yourself, but it's not required. Also, there's things like your study abroad opportunities and things like that are also great ways to differentiate yourself when it becomes time for you to find a career position after college. Those are great things to build your resume, but at least in the College of Business, a minor is not required.
All right, Drew. Well, we do have this question. Have there been any changes to summer orientation?
There have. So SOAR is what you might be familiar with as far as what summer orientation has looked like before. The president made a decision a few weeks ago for us to allow incoming students to start registering now. So on April 1st, we opened that registration option for students. So in the past, you would have done what Stacy outlined, where you would come to campus in the summer and register for your classes during summer orientation. Now you're able to do that registration piece now with your academic advisor. So whenever you're ready, as I mentioned, we don't have an enrollment deposit, but as soon as you're ready to commit to Western, you know Western's the place for you. You can go ahead and connect with your academic advisor to register for your classes. Then summer orientation itself this year will be virtual. It will be on Zoom, so you're getting a good practice run today. And our folks that are coordinating our orientation programs will have more information coming out about those programs soon. There are a number of different days that you can choose from, and you can reserve your spot for summer orientation on your STARS account. I think it'll be about 2 hours of a virtual program, and then there's going to be some additional components that will be outlined throughout July for you as well. So programs will take place in May and June, and then there will be some additional orientation options in July for you.
All right, thank you, Drew. We have another question for you. Are students going to be allowed to live on campus due to COVID-19?
Sure. So as far as we know right now, from what the president shared earlier, everything is still planning to happen as it has been previously. So we are definitely still planning to open our residence halls in the fall and still planning to have students live on campus with us. Absolutely.
All right, Professor Robinette, what is the cost of buying books?
Ooh, that's going to be an interesting question. So first, let me start with this. Professors are going to let you know what books are required for their courses, what materials are required. There are also lots of professors, I'll throw myself in this, who put copies of my books on reserve at the library. So students don't always have to buy a textbook in my class, because if they are on campus or living reasonably close, they can go to the library anytime and use what's called a reserve text. They can check it out for 2 hours in the library and use that. Now, the price of books, one of the things I always encourage any student that I have to do is look and see if there are ebooks available. Electronic books often will save students money. They're also highly portable. You don't have to worry about exactly where your book is. So the cost of the book is going to vary greatly depending on what department you're in and some of those things. Thanks, Deb.
Thank you. Well, Professor Atkins-Colbert, this question is for you. Are classes normally taught in the morning, afternoon, or evening, and can students choose?
You will have some choice, and the answer is yes, all of the above, right? For undergraduates, more of the courses are taught in the morning and in the afternoons, but there are going to be a number of options. Particularly for freshmen, many of the courses that you will take, there might be multiple sections that you can choose from when you register. And your advisor will work with you getting those to fit in so that they don't conflict with other classes that you need to take. But you will have some flexibility. There are courses offered in the morning and in the afternoon. For some departments and some colleges, there are more evening classes because more of their students may be professionals who need those classes to be in the evening after they get off work. But for most freshmen and incoming freshmen, your classes are going to be in the morning and the afternoons. They're typically Monday, Wednesday, Friday courses or Tuesday, Thursday courses. The Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes are 50 minutes in length each day, and the Tuesday, Thursday classes are 75 minutes in length each day. Devin?
Thank you. Drew, this next question is for you. How will students receive the Leatherneck Visitor Scholarship for the Virtual Admitted Students Day?
Great question. So we are tracking everybody who's here today. And after the program is over today, then we will go into our system where we track participation for events and mark you as attended for this program. And then the scholarship will package and it will appear on your a new updated version of your financial aid award letter that you'll be able to see on STARS. So you should be able to see later, either tomorrow or later next week, you should be able to see that scholarship available to you. Thanks, Devin.
Yeah, well, Professor Mackey, this is a fun question for you. We may all laugh at this, but what happens if a student oversleeps and doesn't make it to their morning class?
You know that does happen, especially for those really early morning classes. Okay, the easiest thing to do, and this is going to be advice anytime you oversleep or aren't feeling well or something comes up. Stay in contact with your professor, email them. When you do wake up, whatever time that is, shoot them an email and just say, Professor Mackey, I'm so sorry, I overslept. Could we meet and can I find out what I missed in class today? Of course, you're going to want to always look at the syllabus because the syllabus is going to tell you roughly what topic you missed. But my best advice, always email your professor. Just be honest with them, tell them what happened, ask them to either meet or ask them what you missed. And then life will go on from there, but just stay in contact with them always. That's always a good rule of thumb. Thanks, Devin.
Yeah, we've all been there. All right, Drew, you may be able to answer this next question, but how does work study work for students?
That is also a great question. With work study, that's a process that's handled out of our financial aid office. And so I would definitely refer a student with a question about work study to our financial aid folks to be able to get some clarification on that. It's not something that's in my expertise, so I wouldn't want to speak too much and be incorrect. So definitely encourage you to reach out to our financial aid office and they can help you out with that.
And Drew, we're also going to stick with you. Is this scholarship for the Leatherneck Visitor Scholarship for this program, is it the same as the Discover Western one?
It is, absolutely. So our visitor scholarship is a scholarship that we rolled out this year to encourage students to visit campus. And now that students aren't able to do that, we did want to offer that still to students who participated in this program today. So it is a one-time scholarship. Students can earn it once regardless of how many of our visit programs you participate in. If you have earned it for Discover Western already, you should already see that on your account. And then if you've not been to one of our programs before, you'll be earning that scholarship today.
All right, thank you. Well, this is going to be our last question. Professor Zimmerman, this is for you. Is there a certain amount of times that a student can miss class before they are dropped?
So that is up to the instructors. So individual faculty will have different attendance policies. I've done it both ways. There's been semesters where I have had attendance policies and they are penalized. For example, you get 4 missed classes for free, like you would for work. You get to call in so many times. And then after that, then I would start deducting points. There's other semesters I have where I don't require attendance at all. And I figured, hey, you're adults. If you want to come, then that's up to you. So that is a faculty decision. I would say that you really need to make sure that you read the syllabus. You'll be given a syllabus on the first day of class, or if not before, and you really need to read your instructor's policies. And each instructor or professor will have their own attendance policy. So keep that in mind. For me, if you miss 12 class periods, you would automatically fail the course, but that's like more than a third of the semester. So again, that's up to the faculty. So thanks for the question.
Yeah. All right, Drew, this one is up next for you. And I said that last question was our final question, but this will actually be our final question. So where can students find information on applying for scholarships?
Sure, absolutely. So the quick easiest place to go is wiu.edu/scholarship, and that will route you to our scholarship landing page that has information about a lot of different scholarships that are available, some that are require an application and others that don't. And then I would also encourage students to check the departmental webpage for your specific major. Sometimes departments will have additional scholarships that they advertise on their departmental pages that might not be open to all students, might be specific to a major. And so you could also check there as a second resource. But the scholarship landing page would be a good place to start for sure.
Well, thank you, faculty members and our staff. We really appreciate everyone. Looks like my screen may have went off. But we are going to want to give you the contact information for our faculty panelists. We want you to feel free to reach out to them if you have any additional information. You have Professor Zimmerman there, Professor Robinette, Professor Mackey, and Professor Atkins-Colbert, and they would love to assist you. So take this time right now, take out your pen, paper, whatever you need, jot down their information, and the teachers will be willing to get back to you. So, and we'll also have this information all later on. So now we're going to move to our student panel. So while we also add that, we're going to send your questions for our students. So if you have any questions for our students, get them ready and type them in the text box. WIU wouldn't be here without our amazing students. So we selected 4 of them to be our experts today. Our WIU student panelists are here to answer any questions that you have about the student experience here at Western Illinois University. All right, if you couldn't see me, now you can. Sorry, we had a technical issue. All right, so first up we have Carly Ann Piles. Carly is a senior French and Spanish major from Macomb. She is involved with the Rotary Club, the Honors College, the water polo team, and admissions. All right, and then next is Delilah Sanders from Springfield, Illinois. Delilah is a junior political science major. She is a resident assistant, orientation leader, admissions ambassador, and is involved with Model Illinois Government, tutoring, and the Honors College. Then we have Grant Downen from Table Grove, Illinois. Grant is a junior law enforcement and justice administration major. He is also a member of the Honors College, the Lambda Alpha Epsilon professional fraternity, admissions, and intramural basketball. And finally, joining us today is Lauren Antonioli from Aurora, Illinois. Lauren is a sophomore horn performance major. She is involved with fraternity and sorority life, band, peer mentoring, and guess the next one that she's involved in? Yeah, the Honors College, you guessed it right. These 4 students serve as admission ambassadors for the university, and they are well versed in all of the things of WIU. So let's get started with the questions. Remember, you can send them in just like we did with the faculty portion. So we will be checking over them and giving them to our students and shooting them away to them. All right. So our first question, let's go to Carly Ann. Why did you pick Western over other schools?
So I chose Western first and foremost because it was close to home, but also because it was very affordable and there was lots of scholarships available to me. And so that was just basically why I chose here. And I knew that there was a lot of different organizations here on campus to get involved with. And I just loved that even though I'm from Macomb, being on campus is kind of like being in your own little world. So yeah, thanks.
All right, and Delilah, everyone's going to get the same question. So why did you choose WIU over other schools?
I chose WIU for a variety of reasons, but I think what really sold me is when I came on my tour. I just really loved the small town vibes, and I loved how kind the community was and how kind the faculty was. The students, everyone was saying hi. The campus was beautiful. I did visit in July, but the campus was really gorgeous. I just felt like home, and I'm from Springfield, so it's about 1:30 away. So it's far enough from home, but not too far. So that's why I chose Western. Thanks.
Awesome. And Grant?
Yeah, so I kind of chose Western. When I was a senior in high school, I did a lot of visits to other colleges around the Illinois area, and none of them kind of sparked my interest. And I originally didn't want to go to Western, but then I went to a Discover Western here, and I met some faculty members from the LEGA department, and interacted with other campus faculty and staff and everything. I just kind of, again, beating a dead horse here, but fell in love with the campus, and I just really enjoyed everything. And financially, it made really good sense, and it was close to home for me as well. Thanks, Devin.
Yeah. All right. And Lauren?
So I had kind of a unique experience applying to college. I applied to 35 different schools. And the reason that I ended up choosing Western was because I really felt like the people here were supportive. When I came here for my audition for the music program, there were so many current students that wanted to talk to me, were willing to go get lunch with me, just wanted to really help me succeed. And then also the faculty just genuinely cared. They asked questions. They wanted to know about me and whether I was a good fit for this program. So I just really felt like the people here had a really positive environment. Thanks.
All right, Grant, this next question is for you. So how many activities can students participate in? How would you answer that?
So it's really just going to depend on the student. If you are very organized, I would say that's going to let you participate in more organizations. Usually organizations have one or a couple weekly events a week. Some may have once a month. So it's just going to depend on the student and the different organizations that you're in. Some organizations like fraternity and sorority life, they're going to have a lot of different activities and events per week, where other student organizations will only have maybe one or two a month. So that's just kind of where you're going to have to get involved, talk to people within the organization, kind of see where their expectations are, and see which kind of fits your schedule. And you can get involved in as many or as little as you want. But my advice would be to get more involved.
All right, thank you, Grant. Well, next, our question is going to be for Delilah. Since you're an RA, or resident assistant, what would you say that they look for when they're trying to choose being an RA? And talk about the other things that RAs do and how they're helpful to students.
Okay, so being a resident assistant is probably one of my favorite jobs on campus. It takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of organization to be a resident assistant. When looking for a resident assistant, they're always going to look for someone who has good time management skills, is able to work with people, and is a good problem solver. So if you have any of those qualities, I would absolutely apply. I think that from the day-to-day, I do say being a resident assistant is absolutely a 24-hour job. There really is no schedule. You just kind of work around your residents. But we do do things like duty. We help out with homecoming. We basically are, in a sense, like a big sister or a big brother on the floor to assist any of the residents with whatever they need. So thank you.
All right. Well, Lauren, are there a lot of campus job opportunities?
Yes, there's a lot of opportunities to work on campus. So the four of us, we all work for the admissions office. We're admissions ambassadors, and it's been such a great experience for me. And I think many of my colleagues would say the same. But there are lots of different opportunities based on each department. So a lot of departments have offices where they hire student employees to work. A lot of different majors have specific opportunities where the students can work in that department. So I know in the music department, we have people who help out working on stage or working the recording booth, things like that, just to get hands-on experience in our program. And then there's also opportunities to work in food service on campus through University Housing and Dining, through Sodexo. So there's plenty of different opportunities to apply for here on campus. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right, next, Carly Ann, this question is for you. Is it better to have classes on the same day or spread out?
Ooh, that's a good question. So personally, like this semester, I only had classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I don't have that many courses left to take being a senior. But I kind of liked having them spread out, so your whole day isn't just school. You have time to do your homework, hang out with like your roommate or your friends, just to, better time management skills. And then you're getting up every day ready to go. But that's really a personal preference. If you want to try to take all of your classes on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that's when they're available, then you can definitely do that. I know certain majors, there's different days where they have certain classes, like nursing majors have a more like strict schedule for courses and everything. But yeah, thanks.
Yeah, all right. Well, Delilah, this next question is for you. How has your semester this spring been like online?
This semester, it definitely has been a lot different. I'm used to going to class every day, but I will say, even though it's been a bit of a challenge kind of adjusting, I'm starting to get into the swing of things, and my semester's been pretty good. I think I can thank my professors and the staff and faculty for working so well with the changes as well. Like, I don't know where I would be without my professors and their emails helping me through this process. So the transition to online classes it can be rocky sometimes, but I'm glad that I have the professors and the staff that we have at Western to help me through it. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, Grant, describe your experience so far here at Western.
So I would kind of start off with my experience. I'm a very social person, so living in the residence halls as a freshman, you're going to meet a lot of people. You're going to meet, your roommate, obviously, people who live on your floor. You're going to know probably all the people that live on your floor. You're also going to meet the RAs, who are on your floor and are doing duty, and you're just going to meet a lot of people. So the thing is to just kind of pick out the people that you enjoy hanging out with the most. And you're just gonna join organizations and figure out your class schedule and everything, and make time to where you're gonna go and hang out with friends or campus organizations and stuff. So my experience has been awesome. I've met lifelong friends, my roommates, and a lot of faculty members that I know I'll be in touch with down the line, and have worked with some amazing people. So I can't speak to speak enough about the really good experience I've had. Thanks, Devin.
All right, and Lauren, we have a couple Greek life questions. Can you explain your experience with Greek life and rushing?
Okay, so the primary recruitment process takes place usually around the third weekend of fall semester. So the primary recruitment process is 3 days. So on the first day, you get to meet with every single organization for about 45 minutes and really get a feel for what the values of each organization are. And then throughout the weekend, you kind of narrow down which organization is the best fit for you. And then at the end of the process on Sunday, everyone goes to the football field, and after you sign a bid to the sorority, you will run home to the sorority that you've chosen. So it's a really fun experience. There's also in the spring, if you choose to join a sorority in the spring, it's a lot more informal. So you meet with and email the different organizations that you're interested in, and they'll email you back, and you can meet up with them, see if it's a good fit for you, things like that. So there's a lot of different options as far as recruitment. My experience with Greek life has been really great so far. I've met some really incredible friends, and it's really helped me branch out on campus. So I'm not in the music building 24/7, but I'm interacting with a lot of different people and just really getting to know people on a different level.
Awesome. Well, Carly Ann, this next question, explain how do you join the Honors College and the difference between being in the Honors College and just being just a regular student.
So I joined the Honors College the second semester of my freshman year. I wasn't really sure what it was at first, but really it's not what you might think it is. I personally don't think that the classes that you take for the Honors College are harder. They're just a little more different. So if you take the general honors path, that means you just take general education courses that have like an H after it, so they count for honors credits or like honors points. And so, for example, I took a course with Dr. Taylor called, oh goodness, I'm forgetting what it was called, but we reenacted like the French Revolution and apartheid in South Africa, and that was really great. Delilah was in that course with me. It was awesome, and it was just a unique way to learn. Instead of just like writing papers all the time, you were like acting out someone from that time, so that was really great. And I also did a study abroad trip with the Honors College, and I went to Iceland for a week, and that was great, and learned about their culture and everything. So you have that, those general honors courses that you can take, like the study abroad was a 1-credit class. So the only extra course that you have to take for the Honors College would be that 1-credit general honors course. And then you have departmental honors, which I'm also a part of. So as a foreign languages major, I do an honors project. And let's say like my French class, like I read like poetry from different French poets, and then I kind of like analyzed them and stuff for like an extra project that other students in my class didn't have to do. So it kind of just depends on your major. Like I know Grant for the LEJA honors, he does like a separate research paper than his classmates do and such. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Well, this is a 2-for question for Delilah. We kind of answered it a little earlier, but we'll bring it up again. So what makes being an RA, how does that benefit you? And then also, what makes WIU feel like home to you?
Okay, so for the first part, what being an RA means to me is that I get to help people every single day. I love helping people, and I love working with freshmen. I'm a freshman RA this year, and I'm going to be a freshman RA next year. I love seeing how excited freshmen are about college and how excited they are about Western, and helping them and planning programs. So I love being an RA for that reason. And I just, like I said, I love to meet new people and experience every class. Every class is different. Class of 2021, class 2022 is so different as well. And it's very rewarding work. It's hard work, but you gain so many skills being an RA: organization, time management, helping others. So for that question, being an RA is honestly everything to me. And for the second part, what makes Western feel like home to me is that, well, in Springfield, it's a lot bigger than Macomb, but Western or Macomb kind of feels like a small little suburb of Springfield to me. And I feel like after a while, after living here for 3 years, I kind of learned to know everybody. And I feel I like the small town vibes. I really do. I like how close-knit the community is. Our campus isn't that big. How many people come to our school isn't that large. So I get to meet a lot of people and I get to make connections very easily. And I think that's what's contributed to my success is the intimacy of Macomb and Western in general. So I think that's what makes Western feel like home to me. Thank you.
Awesome. And speaking of city populations and the differences, Lauren, you're from Aurora, Illinois. So kind of explain the difference in how you were able to adjust from being in a bigger city to coming to Macomb.
Well, coming from Aurora, it is very different living in Macomb, but in the best way. I think that getting away from my hometown has been really a perfect opportunity for me to grow and figure out who I am. And especially being part of such a small and supportive community, I feel like the people here really support me in everything that I do. And I feel very fortunate to be part of the Macomb community because Macomb really loves Western. Like everywhere on the town square, you see Rocky Dog statues supporting the campus. At some of the different shops in town, you know, they'll have like Western spirit all over their storefront. And so that support really makes a big difference in our experience here. And I think that also it's really easy for me to get to and from home. Being from the Chicago area, I can take the train. It's a 2.5-hour train ride. It's only about $20 a ticket for me to get home. So I can, and it runs twice a day. So I can go home in the morning and come back at night if I wanted to just be able to go see my family. And so the transportation is very easy. It doesn't feel like I'm super far away from home, but the culture here is very different.
Awesome. All right. And Grant, this one is for you, the LEJA. What are some of the things that you do in the LEJ program, and talk about what the program offers?
Yeah, so with the LEJ program, you're going to get a lot of diversity in terms of professors. And what I mean by that is that all the professors here have kind of done something different. They've done it in the field, and now they're back teaching. So for example, I've had professors who have been worked for Chicago Police, have worked in juvenile detention centers, FBI, Secret Service, as well as the courts, you know, judges, district attorneys. So all of our professors in our department have done a variety of jobs. We don't just have police officers from all around Illinois and they just come here and work. No, that's not the case. So in terms of like classes, you're going to get to learn, you know, Illinois law, statutes. You're going to learn about Supreme Court cases. That was one of my favorite classes. You're going to be able to interact with professors and watch videos about, you know, terrorism or identity theft. So just kind of whatever kind of the professor's specialty is, that's what they're usually going to kind of key in on in those particular classes, depending on, you know, what career field they were in. Thanks, Devin. Good question.
Awesome. Carly-Ann, this next question is for you. How did you learn to manage your time in college?
So one of the first things that I started to do my freshman year was go to the library when I just had like an hour or something after class. I would just go there, kind of regroup, and write down all of my assignments. That was a really good way of doing things for me, and I think it's a great place. Or even just like a lab. Almost all of our academic buildings have like labs, and yeah, I have my own laptop, but there's just like a different feeling like going into the lab and like kind of just mapping out what you have to do and just being smart about like how much time you should be like watching Netflix, or when you should be hanging out with your friends or doing your homework. And also getting involved helped. So when I had a little more like things to do, then I was like, okay, this is the time I need to work on my homework, so then I can go to water polo practice and not feel like after my practice there that I would have to come back and do all of this homework. So yeah, thank you.
All right, Delilah, this question is for you. So is it hard to figure out where your classes are?
Not at all. That's a common concern a lot of freshmen have is like, oh, where are my classes? Actually, we have an event at the beginning of the year that the resident assistants put on called Where Are My Classes, where we take a group of residents, maybe about 15 group, and we walk around campus and we show you based off your schedule what classes and where are you going to take them. So don't worry about that. And the campus seems big, but once you're on campus for 3 or 4 years now, it's not that big at all. And you'll learn your way around, and people are always willing to help. Like my first year, I was worried. I was like, oh my God, I can't find, you know, Stipes or anything like that. And I asked a bunch of the students on campus and they were able to help me very quickly. So don't worry about finding your classes. You will get to where you need to be. Thanks.
Lauren, what are some of your study habits and how do you decide to find the time to do so?
So some of my study habits particularly are just like, I try to manage my time really well in terms of studying. So I try to be as efficient as possible with it. I love note cards. I use note cards for everything. And so that has been really helpful for me. And also as a music major, a lot of my experiences are hands-on, as we have in a lot of different majors here. So really practicing and being prepared for different performances and like more hands-on exams and spending time doing that has been helpful for me too. Thank you.
All right. Grant, this question is for you. Talk about some of the food options that are on campus and even places that you like to go off campus.
Yeah, so we'll do on campus first. So on campus, we have a couple dining halls here, and Corbin Olson along with Thompson Hall. And both of those residence halls, they don't have the same food. So, you know, on Wednesday, Thompson could have like Mongolian grill, so like rice and some of that type of food. And on Wednesday in Corbin Olson, they would have wings. So the food is always going to be different in each halls, and it doesn't matter which hall you live in. You can go to any of the places on campus and eat with your meal plan. So the residence hall foods are always great. I usually go there at night when I lived on campus, and it was just very convenient for me. Then in the middle of the day, I usually always hit up the University Union. So that's going to be where our Burger King is, Chick-fil-A, one of my favorites, and then Einstein's Bagels. And then there's also a convenience shop in there where you can get drinks and snacks and that kind of stuff. And all that stuff is covered with your meal plan too. So those are kind of the main eating places on campus. And also off campus, we've got a lot of local businesses that always encourage Western students to even have, you know, discounts and special foods named after, you know, WIU. So I always kind of plug in. Chicks on the Square is always one of my favorites. The Square is kind of the place where all the off-campus restaurants that I always recommend to people. So that's what I would look up. Thanks, Devin.
Awesome. All right, Delilah, this next question is for you. How would you explain the first few days of being a freshman, your first few days? How would that go?
So for the first few days, it's all about adjusting. A lot of you may be homesick. A lot of you may be so excited that you forget to sleep. But being a freshman for the first few days is very exhilarating. First of all, you're going to learn where your classes are and get the feel for what being a college student is like. But also there are going to be lots of different events to help you get acclimated to being at Western as well. So either your resident assistant will have floor events like study night, or you know, come eat dinner with your resident assistant, or there'll be different events like when I was a freshman, we had casino night, which was awesome. So you could go to that and you can meet other freshmen as well. You'll have plenty of time to meet new people. It's all about adjusting. So the first few days, it's just a lot of fun. It's very exciting. And you just kind of learn the ropes in a sense. So thanks.
All right, Lauren, this next question is for you. So would you say that freshmen should be able to join Greek Life if they want to, or would you give that advice as a freshman, and how much time should they put toward it?
So different Greek organizations have different requirements. So some of the like honors fraternities, things like that, you might have to join later on. But speaking for Pan-Hellenic sororities, you can join in your first semester. It definitely does require some time management, but it is well worth spending the time. At least it has been for me. I joined my Pan-Hellenic organization in my first semester, And it really helped me meet a lot of people on campus and really kind of find my place here at Western. So I would definitely recommend looking into your different options, and I would strongly say that I'm very glad that I joined my sorority my first semester here.
All right, thank you, Carly Ann. How long did it take you to basically remember campus like the back of your hand?
So even though I was from here, I hadn't been on campus a whole bunch. So what I did is, like Delilah said, in the very first, like the first few days while you're here on campus, you get to like walk around to your classes and stuff. So I don't believe that they had that my freshman year, or I just didn't know about it. So I actually like screenshotted the map on my phone from our WIU website. And a few days before classes started, I went around and like did that myself. And then it kind of took me maybe like a week to be like really comfortable with the rooms that I was going into, the different halls and everything. And I just always had like the screenshot of the map up on my phone. But after you get it, then it's really easy and not really scary, I don't think.
Perfect, thank you. All right, Grant, this question is for you. Would it be more of a major for forensic science or criminal justice to become a criminal investigator?
So it's just gonna kind of depend. So in terms of majoring in law enforcement, that's going to be what a lot of people major in if you want to work in the law enforcement field. Now, you can always minor in forensic chemistry or forensic psychology or whatever forensic you want to go into, or if you want to major in that, if you believe you're very good, at the forensic part of it, the science, all that kind of stuff, then you're more than welcome to major in that and minor in law enforcement. But what my law enforcement professors are going to tell you, and they're going to be, a little biased, of course, is they're going to want you to major in law enforcement because there's a lot of other stuff that have to deal with, being a crime scene investigator other than just the forensic part of it, right? There's a lot of, how do you treat your victims? How do you assess the scene, track evidence, all that stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that, kind of ties in both to the forensic side and law enforcement. But honestly, if you major in one, minor in one, or major in the other and minor, it's not going to be that huge of a difference. Thanks, Devin.
All right, awesome. I will just say you all are doing an awesome job with sending us questions. We really appreciate it. And of course, thank you to our faculty and students. We're not done just yet. I know we did get a question as far as positives for the sports broadcasting program. And I'm a sports broadcasting major. I'm from St. Louis, but I'm a broadcasting major, I should say, news and performance. So I just, period, for broadcasting and journalism, our department, the reason I chose WIU is because it's a hands-on program and you can join right away. And I really, the first time I stepped foot and I started meeting my teachers. They were willing to help out and assist with just leading me in the direction that I needed to start working. So in particular, sports broadcasting, though, they are very active. They're in our community. During sports events and hosting the cameras and with the microphones and everything. So play-by-play, I would, if you haven't already, schedule some type of time to come out and put on the headset or use the camera and those things. They would love to assist you with that. Also, the teachers, to me, they're very personable. They're very caring. They're willing to assist you. But the main thing, you're getting the experience, and it's hands-on, and it's right away. Other schools, you have to wait until your junior year or your senior year, but that's not the case here. Even internships. I've had a couple internships, one my freshman year in the summer and in the sophomore year of my summer semester. And a lot of it has been that I'm getting personal professional experience, and that helps me more even to build my resume. So those are some positives that I would say, and you can always reach out to any of us if you have any other questions. But yes, very hands-on. All right, we have another question. Delilah, this is for you. What's the worst and best experience that you would say as being a freshman?
Devin, can you repeat that question? I didn't get the tail end of that, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. What's your worst and best experience as a freshman?
I don't really think I had a really bad experience as a freshman. I had a lot of opportunity and success as a freshman, but I would say I probably didn't get enough sleep. Um, I was having a lot of fun and trying to experience so many different things. So I think that would probably, if I were to look negatively back on my freshman year, I'd probably say, Delilah, you need a lot more sleep. Take some time to relax. My best thing about freshman year is that so many different opportunities were given to me. So right out the bat, I was given a job by Drew, who's on this panel as well. And he helped me become an admissions ambassador. So I helped work for admissions, which was awesome. And not a lot of freshmen do that. I also worked for a campaign my freshman year for about 2 years. That was a man who was running for local state representative. So I did that. So much opportunity. Like, I was never bored. I was just thankful that even though I was a freshman, I was able to do things that people said I wasn't going to be able to do until I was like maybe a senior or junior, because at Western, it doesn't matter what year you are. If you're capable and able to do things, they're going to let you do it. So that's probably my best and worst. So thank you, Devin.
Yes, thank you. All right, Lauren, this question is for you. What is it like living in the dorms with a new person?
So my roommate and I actually, we knew each other in high school. We met at the All-State for musicians, and so when we both decided we were going to Western, it just seemed like a really great idea for us to live together. And we actually still room together. We're rooming together again next year, so that'll be our 3rd year. And we're kind of the perfect match, and I got really lucky that way. But I think some of the things that really help us out are that we have really good communication. And so that's one thing that I would always suggest to incoming students, is that you really communicate with your roommate. If something is bothering you, just tell them, talk to them about it. Because I think when you can communicate and compromise with one another, then you can really get along really well. Thank you.
Lauren, we're also going to stick with you with this next question. Are the music practice rooms, are those open to all students or just music majors?
Yes, we have 2 sets of practice rooms on campus. We have one in Brown Hall and one in Lee Hall. And when I say sets, there's about like 8 to 15 in each section. And those are available to all students that would like to use them.
All right, awesome. Our next question, Carly Ann, how would you say class sizes are? How big are they?
So our faculty to student ratio is 18:1. So your larger class sizes would probably be for like our larger majors such as law enforcement. Those classes might be a little big, or your general education courses, those might be a little bigger, but it's still not going to be like 100 people or anything like that. As a foreign languages major, my class sizes are much smaller than most people, which is great because you get to communicate really well with your professor and ask lots of questions. But I know that it's just like, if you sit at the front of the classroom, your professor will know your face. You'll ask more questions. So that's my advice, like, to incoming students. But the class sizes here are one of my favorite parts about Western in general, just because you're not afraid to get to know your professor, and they're not afraid to really like get to know you. Like, they know when you're in class, they know when you're not in class. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, great job. All right, Delilah, this question is for you. Are students allowed to bring their own cooking supplies and materials to campus, or do they have to rent them?
Absolutely within reason. Like, you are not allowed to have an air fryer or like a grill in your residence, your residence hall. So you can bring small pots and pans and everything like that. So depending on where you live, I know, for example, Thompson Hall, there is a community style kitchen on the 2nd floor, and Corbin Olson, they have a community style kitchen on the 1st floor, and you're able to cook whatever you may need there. You can bring small items as well, just nothing too big or that takes up a lot of power. Thank you.
All right, Grant, this next question is for you. So did your roommate matching go well, would you say?
Actually, yes. So my freshman year, I used the roommate matching system, and I matched with my freshman year roommate, Brandon. And he was a different major than me, from a different area than me. So we didn't have like too much similarities going into it on paper. But we actually got along very well my freshman year. We had kind of gelled the same friend group together. So he was a big lifter, and I'm a big playing basketball guy. So we were always running to each other at the rec. And, you know, our friend groups would kind of mesh together. So we actually got along really well. And he's actually an RA now. As well as I was an RA. So we knew each other from that as well after our freshman year. And so we're still friends to this day, and we talk every so often. So I used the roommate matching system from the housing department, and it worked out really well for me. Thanks, Devin.
All right. And Lauren, talk about morning classes. Were they hard or easy for you?
So I've pretty much had 8 a.m. classes every semester, and I wouldn't say that they're hard necessarily. I mean, I had school starting at 7:20 in high school, so having 8 a.m.s right off the bat was not super unusual for me. I'm not exactly a morning person, so sometimes I have to drink a little bit of extra caffeine to really stay focused in the class. So it's all about knowing what works for you. If you have a choice between taking morning and afternoon classes, think about what your sleep habits are. And also, I had a group, I lived on the Fine Arts Living Learning community my freshman year, and we were all in a lot of the same classes because we were in similar majors. And so we were very accountable about like waking each other up for classes or being like, hey, let's walk to class together. So we would know where everybody was at and all get there kind of in a group. And so if that kind of accountability works for you, I think that that was really helpful for me as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Carly Ann, this question is for you. So how does someone eventually become an admissions ambassador?
All right, so after a couple months into the school year, you'll hear about our Western Leader process. So you apply for it, you can choose which job. So for example, some of the jobs that are on the Western Leader application would be resident assistant, orientation leader, which I now is summer program assistant. You have admissions ambassador, housing ambassador. So you just fill out this little application, and then we have a big interview day that's in different sections. And so you would be interviewed by us, current admissions ambassadors, current faculty members, grad students. And then it's just like kind of like a normal job. You apply for it, you do the interview, and then you get your answer back eventually. But it's a really smooth process, I think, and it wasn't nerve-wracking really, because you're there with other students who are also applying for the jobs. And it's just like they make it a really good experience for you, and it's not anything to be afraid of. But it's really a great opportunity for students. So definitely look for those Western Leader applications. And when they open up, like I said, they probably open up, I believe it's November is when they do. And then they normally close at the end of January. And then we have our interviews in early February. So yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Well, Grant, this question is for you. So talk about intramural sports. How easy is it possible to get involved, and how is it for you to manage it all?
Yeah, so it's actually very easy to get involved. So all of our intramural sports run through our campus recreation center. And they do a great job of emailing out even opportunities that you didn't even know what was happening. Throughout the school year, you'll get emails from the campus recreation center through IM Leagues. That's the online platform that you sign up for intramural sports here. They'll tell you about every type of tournament that they're putting on. So for me personally, I always play basketball. So what I did my freshman year is I just got a group of friends, and since I was kind of like the organizer of it, you just set up a team, and then you send out emails to everybody's WIU email accounts. And then after that, they just accept it, and then they become part of the team. So it's very easy to set up and make a team, and just invite your friends or whoever that you want to be on your team. And then you just pick out a league. So there's different leagues for every sport. So there is a co-rec leagues, which are guys and girls are on the same team. They're just kind of playing for fun against other teams that are the same. Then there's different tiers of leagues where it's just more competitive. down to just like kind of playing like just for fun. So you just kind of pick out a league that you want to play with that, whoever friends, coworkers, or classmates that you want, and it's super easy to set up online. Thanks, Devin.
Awesome. Well, this is going to be the last question, and Lauren, this is for you. So is bringing a vehicle on campus, is that recommended, or is everything in walking distance? That's for Lauren.
You know, it's totally okay to not have a vehicle on campus. Like I said, there's options to take the train to and from the Chicago area if you're, or the suburbs if you're coming from kind of further away like I was. But I do have my car on campus, and it's been nice for me to get to and from the store, things like that, and to kind of carpool around and be able to drive my friends. So it's definitely very convenient and nice to have a car on campus, but if you don't have a vehicle, it's not going to negatively affect you. You can walk to all of your classes, and you can, we have a bus system here on campus that will take you around town if you need to get to the town square or the grocery store or things like that. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Western students and everyone, and also thank all of you that are joining us today for all of your great questions. We really, really appreciate them. I did not expect all of those questions, but I'm glad we could get through most of them. But if we weren't able to get to your question and it wasn't answered, then feel free to email admissions@wiu.edu. Again, that is admissions@wiu.edu. All right, and just a couple of reminders before we go. First, follow us on Snapchat and Instagram at WIU Admissions to see our current students highlighting different parts of campus and answering your questions. We'll have different takeovers happening on Snapchat on Tuesdays and Instagram on Thursdays. Today, we're answering your questions about living on campus on our Instagram story, and definitely join also the WIU Class of 2024 Facebook group to meet other incoming Leathernecks. We also want to say, don't forget to finish any next steps that you might need to take care of to finalize before becoming a Leatherneck. Log in to your STARS account to register for classes with your academic advisor so you can get the best choice of classes for the fall. You can also reserve a spot for summer orientation. Dates are filling up quickly, so hurry up and try and get on that soon. And we are offering virtual summer orientation programs in May and June, and you won't want to miss them. So finally, complete your housing contract and begin the search for a roommate if you haven't already. All right, well, we thank you again for joining us today for this program, and we hope everyone has a great evening. Thank you to your future Leathernecks. We look forward to connecting with you all again soon. Bye-bye.